Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headline. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at your comments. We occasionally deploy a poll, such as the one that you're seeing on your screen right now. We just deployed a poll, and we'll talk about the poll later on today. And we take a look at your comments, your suggestions, your ideas, just to find out what you're up to and how you are taking advantage, well, not taking advantage, but enjoying your time here in Puerto Vallarta. We are a community of English-speaking locals. We're here living full-time. Most of us, some of us are here during a certain part of the year, but we're definitely not tourists. We are English-speaking locals, and we are hoping to find great ways to connect with the city, with each other, with our culture, with everything that makes this city so special. And today we have a fun broadcast. We have a little bit of everything. We have a little bit of snark. We have a little bit of good news and important news. And of course, yesterday, as I mentioned, I was walking into town to get some yarn for a new project. And I recorded a walk. So we're going to have a little, what? Maggie, how can you have been in Facebook jail? I cannot imagine you could have posted anything so controversial that Facebook would put you in jail, but I'm glad to know that you're out of Facebook jail. It's great to see you, and it's great to see everyone. I catch your comments through the corner of my eye, and I don't mean to look at your comments right now because we'll look at them during the second half of the broadcast. So before we start with the news, as always, we welcome everyone, particularly those of you that are joining us live for the first time. It is a pleasure to meet you. And if you'd like to let us know that you are new, you can do so by writing the word new in your comment. And if you have an important question, such as Terry added a capital letter Q to her question, and we'll get to those in the second half of the broadcast. But it helps a great deal when you have something really important that you want to share, and we can look for those cues later on. But first, let's take a look at our news. Let's take a look at the weather, and we'll come back to this poll that is giving me the answer that I was hoping for. Yay. But first, news. Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting to set this up properly, and there it is. El Tuito is hoping to become a magical town, according to this news note. The municipality of Cabo Corrientes and the Jalisco Secretary of Tourism are looking to promote the inclusion of El Tuito into the list of pueblos mágicos, or magical towns, thus joining other magical towns in the state, such as San Sebastián del Oeste, Talpa, and Mascota. I have a little bit of commentary here that I would love to share. And and it goes like this. El Tuito is the head of the municipality of Cabo Corrientes, which is south of Puerto Vallarta. If you haven't been there, I strongly recommend a day trip. And I'll be the first person to say there is very little to do in El Tuito. El Tuito is this place that we pass through if we're heading south, or if we're taking a turn onto places like Tehuamixtle or Maito, you pass through El Tuito. But that's what makes this little town so special. It would be such a wonderful town for a better municipal market or for more activities. And, now that San Sebastián del Oeste is increasingly popular, I bet on El Tuito as a place where I would invest if I was looking for real estate. It's only 1 hour south of Puerto Vallarta. It's high up in the mountains, so it's a little bit fresher, cooler than it is here in Puerto Vallarta. So I hope that they are able to obtain this denomination from the government. It takes a number of years. It takes a lot of planning. And of course, when you have an administration that is keen on this, then it's easy to happen. But if a new administration comes in that is not interested in promoting long-term projects such as becoming a magical town, things don't happen. So good luck to El Tuito. Hopefully it'll happen. And if you haven't been there, I totally recommend that you check it out. Moving right along, Formula One race car driver Checo Pérez will promote Puerto Vallarta in a Grand Prix to take place in Austin, Texas during the month of October. Whoop-de-doo. He's promoting our city. Let us remember that the race car driver was paid 6 million pesos from our tourism board, 6 million pesos to wear the word Jalisco on his helmet. Yes, the helmet that he wears while he's driving his car, but not much anywhere else. I just hope that somebody holds the dude accountable because, he's supposed to be promoting our city. I don't know if he does. I don't know if he doesn't, but I sure hope he does. Rain continues to be good for regional dams. The Corrinchis Dam near Mascota is at 100% capacity and keeps spilling water. It is that good. Meanwhile, the Cajón de Peña Dam is now at 78% and has increased by 20% since its previous reading at the beginning of the month. This is all great for our destination because the more water we have saved away, the better we will fare the next time the dry season comes. Now, let's talk about monkeypox, just in case you're wondering. The good news is that it's most definitely not time to worry about monkeypox here in Puerto Vallarta, unless, of course, you're out there monkeypoxing. There have been a total of 69 cases in the state of Jalisco, with an average of 6 people per week catching the disease. And of the 69 cases, 27 remain active, and of all the cases, 49 have been detected in Guadalajara, and the rest have been detected elsewhere in the state. So I share this information just so you know. Should we be worrying about this? Definitely not. Unless, of course, as I said before, you're out there monkeypoxing. Now, this made me laugh this morning. You're damned if you vape, and you're damned if you don't. You may recall that a few weeks ago, the sale of vaping paraphernalia became illegal here in Mexico, and now some doctors are reconsidering. Given the fact that many people use vaping as a step towards quitting, prohibition is hijacking such attempts to quit. So if you're hoping to stop smoking and you were relying on a vapor, you may have to rely on something else. Again, you're damned if you use one, you're damned if you don't. Let's take a look at the weather and see what's in store for us. Don't worry, meatbag. I won't use the weather to kill you. A sentient supercomputer's gotta have a code. I love it. 27 degrees right now. I'm schwitzing. Feels like 31. Humidity is at 86%. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81 degrees, my bad. And our weather forecast for today calls for rain and humidity throughout the day with a high of 31 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Thursday, possible light rain in the evening with a high of 31 and a low of 25. Friday, rain is starting in the afternoon with a high of 31 and a low of 24. So let us continue on with our things. And the first thing that I want to bring up is this poll that I shared earlier on, in which I asked you, when it comes to supporting nonprofits, I'd rather support the nonprofit that asks for donations without further explanation, or the nonprofit that is specific in their needs and goals. And you know what? 98% of you would rather support a nonprofit that is specific in their needs and goals. And this gives me the confirmation that I needed to hear about the fact that here at Coffee and Headlines, we will only mention nonprofits that are specific in their goals. Somebody reached out to me privately and said, well, there are nonprofits that cannot even pay for their basic bills, and paying for basic bills is not sexy. And I beg to differ. If you cannot make enough or raise enough money to pay for your bills, then maybe something's wrong with your organizational structure. And if you cannot find a way to make paying for basic bills appealing, then you've empowered yourself with the wrong kind of people. And that's all I have to say. My pleasure will continue to be to support nonprofits or mention nonprofits that are specific with their requests and specific with their outcomes. Moving right along, what else do we have today? Well, yes, I told you. Oh, before we move on to my adventures from yesterday, a couple of quick reminders. Speaking about being specific about goals, this event that we mentioned a few days ago, a crochet flower festival. The event, I checked it out this morning. It's happening this weekend at Parque Parota, and I went and checked the... oh my God, what a great question. I'll get to that in a second, Mark. This event is happening this weekend, and I checked out the event on Facebook, and it still has absolutely no more information about what it is, whether it is a big festival, a small festival, whether there's a lot of vendors that are going to be there or only one, whether there is a compelling reason why we should get off our butts to attend. So, the more you invest in your promotion, the more you're going to get back if you are willing to do the work. And of course, another event that we've been talking about is the Art Expo that is going to take place this weekend by the nice people of Hecho a Mano PB. And again, in this particular case, these guys have been very good at putting Facebook posts and explaining the different vendors that are joining their event and what they do and why we should go and so forth and so on. So there you have it. Nothing miraculous will happen if folks are not proactive about providing information for whatever their pursuit happens to be. Okay, so now for yesterday. Yesterday I went into town to buy more yarn because now I've gotten into this craziness of making souples, little carpets to put under plates at the dinner table, and I decided I have to make myself a set. So I went looking for orange yarn yesterday, and this is the one that I made yesterday. I haven't even removed all the little threads that ended up in the process. But that's what I went to into town for. And of course, along the way, when I was walking, I really wanted to take a look at the monument for disappeared women that was just put back at the intersection of Libramiento and Medina Ascencio. And I wanted to get close to it just to see what it was all about. And what I discovered is that each one of the little threads that hangs from that cross has the name of a woman that has disappeared in the state of Jalisco. So, it was good to look at it up close. And then, of course, I started my walk. I didn't pre-record any kind of narration for it, so I'm just going to narrate and describe as we go. I was standing right before the Soriana in the hotel zone, and I wanted to head into town, walk all the way to El Centro to get some yarn for my placemats, and I figured I would record this part of the walk because I know that the city has been doing repairs on the lateral, and it's good to see that the southbound lateral, is almost ready. The trees are starting to look healthier, the trees that are planted next to the bicycle path. Oh my God, I'm going to turn the volume up for the movie because coming up is this man that gave me the craziest, most wonderful cheer. Hold on, here we go. Here he comes. Wait for it, and... Yeah! I love that. Anyhow, there is Soriana in Office Max. And as you can see, it was a beautiful day. It was a little hot, I must say. By the time I got into town, my sweat rag, which I make my sweat rags, as you know, out of cotton yarn, was totally drenched in sweat. Oh, and if this looks a little bit like a dizzy walk because my horizon keeps tilting, I forgot to set an adjustment on my camera, so it may seem a little wonky. But look at how green everything looks. The rain has been really wonderful for the city. And because this is an uneventful walk, I'm going to start looking at your cues. And oh, this man was running to the toilet, I suppose. I don't know. I'm going to start looking for your cues to make sure that we are moving on with everything that we have to do today. Lots of good mornings, as always, and I appreciate that. And as long as we're just walking around... Oh, I have some things that I want to point out. First of all, there seems to be some construction going on either behind Soriana or next to it because the street was being intervened, as you can see. And right next to Soriana, of course, is that crazy little water lagoon that nobody really wants because it's not supposed to be there. It's all filthy water. It's all yucky water. And look at how dangerously close to the sidewalk it is. Like, I would hate to be a little tipsy and trip and then accidentally land into all that gunk. Not fun. And of course, this piece of land, this plot of land is in some kind of legal turmoil, as I understand it, so the city cannot do much of anything about it, and the people involved in its ownership are probably not willing to clean it up, at least not yet. But hopefully they will. Anyhow, Terry had asked, I want to buy one of those steampunk statuettes that beach vendors sell. Is there a place I can get one? Anyone see any around? I wish I could help with that one, Terry. I am not familiar with these specific steampunk statuettes, so hopefully you'll get good feedback from the cluster. Yay, this is the path that Logan follows every day to go to work. And I'm happy that you're happy that see, there goes a bicycle rider. Not wearing a helmet, but what do you know? This lady almost could have fallen, but I'm glad that she didn't. Anyhow, Maggie ended up in Facebook jail for using the D word. That rhymes with duck in a comment. The D word. I think you mean the F word. My friend Earl from Provincetown. Hello, Earl. It's always great to see you. So here we are. We are right in front of this other hotel. I forget the name. And this is about as far as the improvements are going so far. There's still a little ways to go. The Sheraton Hotel is coming up in a little while. Let's see what else we have. And I'm shocked about that, Maggie. I use the F word quite frequently in the broadcasts. I don't write it in my comments, but it happens. Mike loves El Tuito. That's good to know. Yes, El Tuito is a good place to buy raicilla, but of course, raicilla that you buy from a bottle, like home bottled raicilla, you never know exactly what you're getting. Um, let's see what else we have. Tuito has homemade cookies and bread. Cookies, yes, close to the plaza. That is true. Lupita, gracias. You can get great homemade cookies. You can get regional cheese. And I looked at all the feedback that you gave us yesterday about cheese. And yes, I'm going to see if I can get some background information from one of my chef friends. If not, I'll do some research and we'll talk about the different kinds of cheeses that are made in Mexico and where to buy them. Let's see what else we have. There's another actually, before we answer this question, look at how nice it is that the city has employees that are always sweeping and keeping the city clean. Then Mark says, this may be a silly question, Paco, but can you explain the difference between a vecindario, a barrio, and a colonia? Okay, there could be a legal take on this, and there could be just a language take on this. Vecindario, barrio, and colonia could have different denominations by law. Most cities are divided in colonias, which is a neighborhood. A vecindario is a word that can refer to a colonia that is not very nice, like a low-income place. And the same thing happens to the word barrio. Vecindario and barrio can be words that that are not flattering, depending on how you use them. Let me stop for a second. Here we are at the entrance to the Sheraton, where the work continues with the improvement of the laterals. Anyhow, Mark, it's if you look at it from the way cities are organized, some cities organize themselves with colonias or barrios or vecindarios, but usually we use the word colonia because a colonia is not a word that can indicate any kind of bias. Although the word barrio sometimes can be seen in tourism promotional writing, but it depends on how you use it. I'm sorry I'm being vague with the answer, but it is a very good question. Let's see what else we have. Angelica asks, how large is my little placemat? Well, it's large enough for a big plate. And I'm making a set of 4 for my dining room table. Oh dear, what a great question. Is there any sidewalk etiquette? It seems that we always make way for oncoming walkers, but seldom have the favorite returned. You know, I don't think there is sidewalk etiquette, Brian, or rather, I don't count on people having any kind of sidewalk etiquette when I'm walking out and about. If people are in my way, I always say con permiso as I'm trying to get by them, and I always say gracias after I pass them. But people understanding the polite way to walk on a sidewalk, no. I don't think people are that mindful. Ashley says, Sage and I live very close to there and go walking there a lot. Good for you. Excellent. Logan comments, all this section is brand new, sidewalk expanded and leveled. Makes my commute that much more enjoyable. Let us remember that this particular improvement is going to continue all the way to the end of this stretch of sidewalk. And then, of course, the city is going to start on the way back. Let's see what else we have. What's up With all the graffiti on the buildings, the city should have the owners paint over the graffiti. I'm sorry, Brian, I always chuckle whenever I see an English-speaking local use the word should as it relates to what the city is supposed to or not supposed to do. Yes, by the book, one would think the city would encourage the activity that you suggest, but it's not something that the city is probably going to do very proactively. What's up with all the graffiti on the buildings? I have no idea. And Claude is right. Some graffiti can be considered art, and in fact, the city empowers a number of muralists to go and decorate some of the public walls. There's a public access to the beach. At this particular point, we are reminded that by law, large hotels and buildings should have a small piece of land in between them so that people can safely access the beach, but more often than not, hotels don't respect that. Let's see what else we have. Jill says, the Blue Jays have a home run jacket called People of the Barrio, Gente del Barrio, naming all the countries of the players. Who knew? Let's see. I thought the male walks closer to the traffic side of the sidewalk. As a rule, I do that if I am walking with women, but that's just my upbringing. If I'm walking with a lady by my side, I take the side that is next to traffic. But that's just me. Con permiso, with attitude, absolutely, Lucas. Absolutely. If I am con permiso, is one of those phrases that anybody should understand in Spanish. And if you are an English-speaking local that doesn't understand the word con permiso or the phrase con permiso, I definitely deliver it with attitude. The first time I'll say it nicely, con permiso, and then I'll start raising my voice until the person or people realize they are blocking the way. Is that snarky? Probably. What can I say? As far as sidewalk etiquette is concerned, if you're always courteous and polite and respectful, nobody bothers you. This is generally the case. Okay, so we've reached that point in which the sidewalk is no longer going to be improved. So moving forward, what bicycle riders do is they go down this little ramp, I suppose. Logan, you can confirm this. Or maybe at this point you go on the main road, I am not sure. But I've seen bicycles continue along the path right here. Let's see what else. Some of those murals are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. And I think we are caught up with comments, so I'm going to continue enjoying this with you. We're actually going to stop recording coming up in the first intersection with Cinco de Diciembre. I think Logan has the best way of saying con permiso with attitude after being very nice a couple of times. I don't remember the way Logan says con permiso with attitude, but I'm going to have to ask for a live demonstration. And in fact, because I'm having dinner with Logan tonight, I may actually do a video of Logan saying con permiso with attitude so that we can all learn from him. I will brag a little bit if I may, but I'm having dinner at some dear friends, and the menu is precisely the same menu that one of my friends learned at one of Carmen Porras' recent cooking classes. He learned how to make chiles en nogada and chayote salad. So that's exactly what we are going to be having for dinner tonight. I let Carmen know. I said to her, this is going to make your day, hopefully. But please know that when people take your cooking classes, they actually, at least some of them, actually want to put their teachings to good use. And that's exactly what happened. David says, I would look forward to seeing that video with Logan. So, Logan, you better rehearse your compromiso with an attitude because I will be recording you tonight. Please look pretty. Oh, wow. Bob watched the 43 on Sunday. Yes, it is absolutely shocking, and it is great to see that more people are becoming mindful of that very horrible situation. And this is where I ended my walk, as a matter of fact. I ended my walk at this intersection. We have walked the rest of Cinco de Diciembre, and of course, I did take some photographs along the Malecón that I'm going to share in the next few days. But this was just that little stretch of the road, Francisco Medina Ascencio, and I'm glad to see that things are getting increasingly better for bicycle riders and for traffic in general. It's a good thing. Let's see. What? Oh my goodness, Chrissy, have we got something for you? What is the best place to get food in Versalles, Fluvial? That is the best authentic food? Well, let me tell you, Chrissy, one of the things that we have here at Coffee and Headlines is a gorgeous Versalles for Foodies map, which has a reference to over 30 eateries in Versalles and Fluvial. You can find this map in our website, and you know what our website is, of course. So that would be my quick answer to you. Does PV have a citizens patrol connected to PD? Well, given the fact that I have no idea what PD means, I cannot answer that question. So hopefully somebody else can. I don't know. PD, pediatric domination, penile dysfunction, parental disorder. See, I have no idea. Wish I could help. And this brings us to the end of our broadcast today. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, it is a pleasure to connect with you. Police department. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think so. Police department. You guys and your acronyms. Gotta love it. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.